What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and I am here with Ivan from The Lookout, the winner of the 15th place at European Finals with Future Gohan. Hey Ivan, how you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing fine, and being 15th place is an honor, even though we would have to actually see the bracket. Maybe I'm 8th, because for now I lost only to the champion.
Yeah. So, guys, this event was, first off, I'm super happy because Ivan is my teammate and the best player in our team. This is his swan song, and getting top 16 in the finals, and like with Future Gohan, man.
Yeah, it was a long time coming.
So let's start first with the standard question, with the BT23 just coming out, and a lot of decks being contenders. Why did you choose to go with Future Gohan?
Well, I tested U7 a lot, the red and the yellow decks, and the thing that I found was that I couldn't grasp U7's all of the win cons, and I didn't have that much time to test, even though I tested a lot. And U7 Gohan was just too powerful. But I found myself in most situations maybe decking out, or I don't know what. And I tried to find another deck that had the same advantages as U7 Gohan, but to be, like more modern and more versatile in the new meta. That's why I found Future Gohan and Future Trunks. Even also, they're like a Terminator timeline, so it was really funny for me. And actually, I care about Terminator too much. And this deck reminded me of Gogeta, so I wanted to have the options as a red player primarily to represent with red our team, right?
Yeah, and represented you did, man. Like, it was so crazy. So let's go over the deck, but first off, for the viewers who are new to Future Gohan, can you briefly just explain the leader?
Yeah, of course. On his unawakened side, he looks at the top 5 and takes an Earthling or a Saiyan, any Earthling or a Saiyan. That's pretty important because with him you can take your 8 drops and your SCR. And on his awakened side, he awakens when you have a destroyed war city on board, which costs 1/1. You can take yourself down to 6 and untap one and draw one. And after that, you're off to the races, since he can draw passively, so he doesn't have to attack, which is awesome against new yellow decks where you have to, or red decks even, where you have to attack with the battle card first, because Explosive Dance and Nimbus are a thing. And his activate main battle effect is that you sack one of your Z energy, and then you can activate your Gohan feature and Trunks feature skills in your battle area and combo area. You reduce them by 1. The effect stacks, so that's pretty important for any new player who doesn't know that. And you can do it passively. So even if you play the 8-drop Trunks and your opponent, let's say, steadfasts it and switches him to rest mode, I mean, he enters play in rest mode, you can pay 2 Z energy, and then he can restand and be a dual attacker, and then minus and +1 in hand because of that.
All right. So, with now that you know what the leader does, let's just dive straight into the deck, and we will start with 4 copies of the last minute 4th edition SS on Gohan. One of the most.
Yeah. The thing is, when a person sees that card, he thinks, oh look, here's the turn 2 play, oh look, here's the turn 3 play. And if you play him turn 2, he's actually good because you draw a card and you swing for 20, and you kind of make him a target of your opponent's attacks, not your leader. But the way I play the deck is that I played him turn 4, which is not that typical. He minuses the Unisons, he minuses battle cards that you can, like blockers, for example, and he's usually what you do with him, you swing, and then your opponent is like, he doesn't have double strike, his effect gives him double strike, right? You're like, yes. And then he says no negates, and then you combo the Trunks, give him double strike, and then your opponent is actually facing a 25k double strike, and then you can had some stuff on board from hand to him, and then your opponent's like, hey, he cheated me when answering the question, and I didn't cheat. I just answered honestly the thing that he questioned, and then you use the activate main, and then you swing for 20k double striking.
Yes. So yeah, that's the one big thing. Like this deck can give keywords, and
Yup.
nothing has keywords until you give them. So,
Yep.
Going into the Trunkses. So let me just reveal immediately all three of them.
Four of them. You have in the second line the third from the back.
Second line, third from the back. No. It's fine. Yeah. Let's just go with the three that I can find without revealing everything else.
Okay.
So, yeah. Let's talk about the Trunks lineup.
Okay, so you have to have frustration because he's one of the best things to have under Destroyed West City in the beginning of the game, since your opponent actually expects it to be there. And his active battle effect is only active when he's comboed, played comboed from Destroyed West City. And the other ones you can, shyly have them in hand for the first turn or two if you don't have to put them underneath West City to draw. And then they can provide the surprise factor of double striking. If you have them on board, your opponent knows that you will give double strike or critical or barrier. You never use the barrier one. You use them literally because he's another version of the card. So their limit one is a limit one, right? So you can use 4 of them per turn. So you have 4 different versions of them. The 3 critical ones are here just because I have 3 of the barrier ones. So you have the, let's say, more options to draw into them and for them not to stack on each other and stand on their foots. You use the Trunks Frustration in the first turns to defend your leader out of, let's say, some key critical awkward double strike swings, and you use the double strikes and the critical ones to actually threaten your opposing leader with the Gohans or the leader. And we will talk about them next when we talk about the boss monsters.
Alright, then the next thing that we have is mostly a consistency piece. 3 copies of Goku.
Yeah, there were 4 at the beginning, but I needed to find space for something else, and the something else will be cut out from the deck completely, and a new card will come in. The Goku was also here because of one of the many boss monsters to give the deck more versatility, and you can find yourself in clunky situations where you have to put another Saiyan card underneath or destroy West City. So when you combo this Goku, you can use the red Saiyan card that is not a Trunks from West City and draw a card additionally when comboing.
Okay. Then we have... Okay, like you said, it's time to talk about boss monsters. So only 2 copies of the 8 to drop.
Yes, there were initially 3, but I took the 3rd spot for another boss monster that we're going to talk about down the line. Trunks is awesome, and he's really good in any matchup. When your opponent swings it to your other cards on board, they will probably not get you to super combo range. And Trunks, when he starts to swing, your opponent will ask again. So this card doesn't have double strike, just dual attack, and you answer yes, it does. And then you combo the double strike Trunks or the critical Trunks, and then you make him, because when he swings, he uses the Trunks from the drop, so you have to sequence that correctly. And you draw into the Trunks pretty fast. You could put them underneath West City, and you can play him underneath that, so you don't have to, let's say, guard him in hand to have a surprise factor. You put him there, even threaten your opponent, to play more conservatively. And he swings, you give him double strike. On the other swing, you can give him double strike. I mean, there are variations depending on the matchup when you give something. Usually on the first swing, you don't give the double strike. On the first swing, you give crit. And on the second instance, you give the double strike when it's more threatening, and then you use the activate main because you Z-charged with the 2 swings. You probably put yourself down to 5, and then you can use the super combos actually to make the double strike really impactful.
Yeah, really, really cool boss monster when you also start adding things to it.
Yes, it is.
The SCR of choice is not the archetype one; it is Vegito.
Yes, no archetype SCR for me. Vegito was always my best pick for Red Saiyan leaders since it gives you the leader modifier of 10k. His quad strike will rarely win you any games, but his effect of ripping a super combo or your opponent's next, let's say, big play is more valuable for me than, let's say, disrupting the combo step, because I know that against U7 you disrupt the combo step and it's pretty important, but when you look at it through my eyes, you see that um, the combo this deck combos a lot, but it doesn't combo that much as you would like in certain instances. So having the SCR in play when you have to, let's say, sack two of your only Z energy to, let's say, not give your opponent a chance to combo, but then actually having having yourself being open potentially for clapbacks, because if you how to destroy West City, it reduces the cost of your defeating the demons. You can click on the next card because this is the defeating the demon part. Um, you don't have him at one cost. So you have to, when you get to 2Z energy, you only manipulate the third, fourth, and fifth one, not the two ones, because defeating the demon is actually one of the cards that your opponent always has to worry about. So having your 2Z energy sometimes makes Vegito, the regular SCR, in my opinion, pretty open for you to lose maybe next turn or give yourself into an awkward position. But Vegito enables you to give your leader a modifier, rip your opponent's card, and then threaten with a quad strike. He's never gonna finish the game. Maybe when your opponent says at one life, he's gonna kill. But other than that, he's just a awesome body to have on board and just to threaten something.
Yeah, Vegito is the staple.
Yeah,
The
to me,
best.
it's a staple. I mean, it won me games just because my leader was too high. Your leader is 25. When your opponent swings and uses Truckin's Frustration, you're basically 30. So they always have to overcombo. When you use Explosive Dance as a negate, you're also open, to those kinds of things. You have to take into account all of the things that your opponent can do when they're trying to swing face at you, because you're playing the value game. This deck is not the standard version of Gohan. So I have to be careful of other things when playing, other than, let's say, Jamie's list, which didn't play a deck list like this. So this was pretty different from anything that was on the floor. And I think that actually the surprise factor of this build made me put me in the spot that I was in the end.
Mm-hmm. Yep. With surprise factor in the Swiss, yeah, definitely. Especially surprise factor plus a new deck, yeah, that's
Yeah,
gold.
yeah.
Speaking of explosive dance, so you're packing a playset of Peter Dance in your deck.
Yes, and you can also click on the next card as well because that's the negate lineup. Yeah, I have to play for explosive dance because this version that I'm playing relies heavily on having explosive dance in your hand and playing it every turn from turn 3 to 7. You and not to charge it, because one of my games that I lost it exclusively because I charged my fourth copy of explosive dance into. So yeah, you have that situation as well, and you have King Vegeta's opposing presence, which is here mainly because of black, mainly because of Mechicabra. But I didn't play any Mechicabras that day, and yeah, you have that as well.
Um, the last kinda support card for this is a consistency piece is just two copies of Bulma.
Yeah, I was trying it more, and then I tried it without it, and I found that I needed some kind of way to still, even at two copies, even if you're playing it as a cantrip to draw one. I found that I needed Bulmas to speed up my trunks filling underneath West City, because there are certain turns where you use them on attack, like 2 or 3, and then you're left without any trunks. And you need them. You need them sometimes as failsafe in defense even. That's why I use her. And oh yeah, and also you can find yourself with having 5 cards in your drop. You discard her, you have 6, and then your overwhelms are live. So that's pretty important as well.
So you're also running a Unison in this build.
Yes.
3 copies of Baby.
Yes. Click on it and click on the next card, because this opens up the whole can of worms and why I decided on this. What do you want to know first?
Okay, Widell. Oh my god, you toxic bastard. Widell and defeating the demon. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go with Baby first, and then we'll talk about Widell.
So I wanted to play Unison deck because I was pretty aware of the Nimbai. I was aware of Forbidden Powers. I was aware of Explosive Dance and a lot of the other stuff that can happen and lock your battle card swings. And I don't like to be limited when trying to swing into my opponent's face or disrupting them and demoralizing them. And I tried with a couple of Unisons, so Gojira Unison doesn't work, so I'd never actually put it in the deck. The first variant had that red Mass Saiyan 2-cost Unison because it put my Trunks in the drop and enabled my drop to swing more, let's say, more precise, because you can put a targeted Trunks in your drop, not what RNG gives you. And then I tried something with Sin because my mind went to, what if I run into a fellow who tries to play Expert 21 and wants to rip my hand out. So I was pretty strongly opinionated to have Sin from Unison Warrior, the 3-drop. Jiren was never a contender, and then I talked with Cody, and he said, well, why don't you just play Baby? And then he opened up a lot of things in my mind, because Baby is a hard removal card. And when you're playing against, let's say, Pan or Meki or any other deck that doesn't have barrier cards, you don't have to invest a lot of energy to actually remove the card. You just eat it with Baby. And Videl is also here with defeating the demon in a combination to exploit both counter windows, because red is one of the colors that can do it pretty good and precise. Also, Videl is searchable with Bulma and with your leader, and that's pretty relevant, even with the Goku. The thing is that you use Videl on counter window 1 for free. You see what your opponent will do, and then after that you can see if you can invest in another energy to pay for defeating the demon. Also, one of the best things about the math with this deck is, since all of your opponents expect you to play the Gohan version that has all of the 4 drops and all of the disgusting things that the deck can bring to you, Baby actually does your opponent a disfavor by you seem like something didn't work when you were playing. On turn 2, you are expected to play Destroy West City, to play some form of Gohans and swing and awaken and do your stuff. But when you don't do that, when you just play Destroy West City, your opponent presumes that you didn't have something in your hand. So they will try to swing at your face, and they will actually they're actually doing what you planned. They will put you down to 4, which is what you actually need to play your super combos and make Explosive Dance live. Because you awaken turn 3, you hold off the awakening to turn 3, you leave your 1 energy open, you never tap it for anything, never. And your first opponent swings, you play Explosive Dance, and they're basically locked. So they have to pass their turn. None of the things that they will do, they can't actually attack. They can maybe break a leader swing, or maybe play another battle card and do something like that. But other than that, they're locked out of their turn. And on turn 4, you leave your energy open for more Explosive Dances.
Yeah, crazy combination, man. Yeah. Now we're moving into also a bit of a spicier territory as well. Schlong Boss Monster. 2 copies.
Yes.
Yeah, the double turn beam, basically.
So this thing in combination with the Vegito SCR gives your leader a 30k base leader on your opposing turn. In combination with Baby, your leader gets +1 to your leader's 31, and if you Z awaken when you're in a pinch, you can be 36 base. Some of the people I've played learned that the hard way. You can't overrun a leader that is 36k and has a Trunks frustration underneath West City.
Yeah, that double beat in red is very good, guys. It's very good.
Triple beaning, and then that's the A drop actually explains why I have the Goku 1-drops in deck as well.
And now, finally, we reach the spicy boy. The secret sauce.
Yeah, the secret sauce that got sided out every single round except round 1. He was here against Gogeta because you can put Realm of the Gods, you can put any other card that you want. But Gohan in combination with Trunks is actually one of the best cards to passively minus the Gogetas so that they cannot, you enter combat and then negate, and then you enter combat to try and minus it and then negate. You play the Gohan defeating the demon, they counterplay with Zamasu or something like that. But this Gohan enables you to put the Gogeta to 5, and then when you swing, you just minus it with frustration. So you kill it on the spot as well. And then he's a dual attacker 30k, and he's the only 30k card in the deck. No, not the only one, but the only one that, let's say, could potentially swing.
Mm-hmm. So here for Gogeta, you didn't see Gogeta's got sided out, but was a cool idea, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I played against one Gogeta in round 1, and I didn't actually have a chance to play it. Not because I didn't draw it. I drew it in my first hand, then I kept it in. But the opponent didn't actually play any Gogetas against me.
Okay, then we just have the Trunks, the barrier one, the one that I've missed originally. So yeah, just give your guys barrier. It's a Trunks.
I've never done it, but there's a situation where you can do it against Mekikabara to protect your 4-drop Gohan, which is fine, and you can do it. I just never done it in practice. It was an idea if you play against Meki for them not to steal your 4-drop.
3 copies of, well, you might agree with me on this, probably one of the best red cards at the moment, Cell Max.
Yeah, this is actually the MVP of the deck. Trunks wins you games, but Cell Max enables you to win games. And he was the card that I never set it out, because on turn 4 you play one of them, and then you swing, and he's a 25k attacker. If he's not needed, you can combo him away after he swings. His threat of minusing cards on board and being a double blocker, in combination with Explosive Dance, makes a very, very interesting lock that you have in your opponent. So his work, when you're in turn 4, you play Cell Max, you swing, you see what your opponent will do. Then you play the Gohan 4-drop, you swing, and then you make your shenanigans. Then your Unison swings, and then your leader swings with everything that he's got. You have 2 open energy, which is awesome in red, and you use them for Explosive Dance, you use them for the counterplay, and you use them for defeating the demon. And the thing is, when you're in 2 and open energy, U7 cannot tap you out unless they Begama you, but everything you have will be already in rest mode. So they can't Begama you, they can only Final Spirit cannon you or whatever else. You will be left with run energy open. So you use Explosive Dance, you negate the first attack, then your opponent swings with leader probably, you block the attack, and then you can block again. Effectively disrupting their whole Z charge stacking, and then they have to pass. If they want to remove the Cellmax, something from their board will have to, be sacrificed, which is also awesome. He's not that good against Green Gohan, perhaps, but even though he's not good because he doesn't have barrier, he cannot kill something ignoring barrier. His value is that he's a 25k attacker. And since we actually went through all of the boss monsters, you have to look at the power levels of all of the power cards in the deck. So everything is 25 or less, with the ability to become more. Or they have double strike modifiers or something like that. So I was taking into account the explosive dance matchup. So when you play against red, and the thing that I found is on defense, you combo the cards that you will never use. So you will probably on defense combo one of the Cell Maxes or the Goku Piccolo ones, because Goku Piccolo, you don't use it in red. You don't need the leader modifier like that. You just need explosive dance. Trunks is more useful against red, but the thing that you do is, if you want to attack, you have to combo your boss cards. So you combo the H-Drop Gohan, the H-Drop Goku Piccolo, and you combo the Gohans because you can swing with your defeating the demons and your new SRs. I took all of the math into account because your trunks don't stack up to the power that you need to swing, but these boss cards do. So that's why their number is so high.
Amazing analysis, man. Absolutely amazing analysis. So we are now we now see two copies of Begrudging Allies. Actually saw a lot of these in the lists. So
Really?
yeah. I went through a couple of lists from a few different, not necessarily main deck, but I did saw them more than I see them usually.
Yeah, and you have to actually put them. Beerus Ball is awesome in the old Mecha Frieza Vegito meta, which is, I don't know, like a decade ago. Begrudging Allies hits defeating the demon, it hits Videl, it hits a lot of the threat cards you have in red, because Begrudging Allies doesn't. Red was always capable of, like counterplaying power levels, but now you have to take into account the cost of the card. So Begrudging Allies was actually put in here to mitigate that discrepancy, to counterplay the cost cards. So one of the best cards that I had in the deck. I used it only a couple of times because my opponent was constantly, I don't know, fearing something, and I even used it by paying 2 energy, because you don't care. If you know that you have 1 energy open for Explosive Dance and a Cell Max established on board, you just use Begrudging Allies for 2 if your opponent didn't attack you in the face. The card is awesome.
Yeah, the card is really awesome. Now we're approaching the end, and that is SS Sungoten Hyperspeed Rush. Only one copy.
Please go to the next one. That card was sided out every single matchup. It bothered me so much. It will probably get out of the deck for anything else.
Okay. Fuck that card. So, how about this one? One after image.
Yeah, this is going to become a hard negate. Well, I put After Image as a respect for card for Victory Strike, even though it's counterintuitive for yellow U7 to play Victory Strike. You always have those ambitious ones. During the first 4 rounds, I didn't want to get cheated out of any good result with a creative one on the floor that actually plays Victory Strike because they bought 2 boosters and got it. I didn't want to actually go through that. And it was good to have because inside I have the second one, and it's good to have it against Ring Gohan when they're swinging with their Vegetas. So that's why I put After Image. It's also a sparking negate if something, I don't know, happens when your opponent wants to bring you down from 2 to 1, 2 to 0 with a double strike with the bursting rages. After Image is actually good because you have the sparking, capabilities, and you bring yourself down to a lot. And if you have your leader modifiers, your leader isn't just a 55, he's probably a 60 or a 70k leader on that attack. So if your opponent wants to win, they can't win like that.
Your overrealm of choice was Heated Fighting Spirit, So it's usually like heated fighting or secret ID. So why did you go with this one?
I like it more. Um, Secret ID is cool and all, but he's 25k. You need, when you're trying to finish the game, I take into account my own fatigue and my own, let's say, uh, even if I miss something that maybe I overcombo the card or not from my hand. And SS4 Vegeta is a 30k. I usually just use him to, like warp a blocker or something because Secret ID can remove some things, but a lot of the boss monsters are 8 drops. Some decks, yes, you can kind of stack up to that math, but in my head, it was always you have a problem card, you warp it, you remove it, and then you have a 30k, not a 25k, a 30k. And that 30 actually matters. And that's why I used it, and he's the only 30k with the Gohan in the deck that, is 30k. Everything else is 25 with additional modifiers.
And the last card of the deck is the super combo. It's Reddit. Like there's nothing else. It's Reddit, guys.
I tried the Android 20. I didn't find myself charging that much V energy at the beginning of the game, so if somebody swings the crits and stuff, you're actually not bluffing. And I tried Beerith. Word to the wise about Beerith. Beerith is cool and all, but the thing about him, when you see the side and when you know what you have to take into account with all of the meta stuff happening, you can top deck a black card, and your super combo is actually nothing. So Raditz, in combination with the baby mindset, actually made the position that it made because I was most of the time on 4 life and he was always active, and that is why I used him. Against U7, I just use them to use them on pressure turns, so that they cannot, not give me my plus effect. When they use the victory strike, the spirit bomb, right? So I never use them in defense in that capacity. Use them in defense on other cards, but not on the leader swing, the final leader swing.
And now we're gonna move on to the Z deck, which is the Z leader that I have. I love it, but I'm yet to see it played anywhere. So how did the Z leader do for you?
The thing is, you actually don't have to go to the Z leader, so you're not gonna see him played. You only play him when you're in some kind of a disadvantage. For me, I only play when I'm on defense and it's my opponent's last turn, and I don't have any cards to combo that much, and I just have to Z Awaken. You Z Awaken, you close your last energy. He's 21 with Baby. He can be 31 with Vegito, and his auto effect when you combo. You actually, if you use Trunks Frustration and your opponent's battle card is swinging, you actually neg the card by 10. So he destroys threats, and he also makes you draw a card. I like the lead. I like the Z lead, but even if this deck didn't have the Z lead, I would still play it because during the whole tournament, I think I played the leader only twice, and one of them, both of the situations was when I was losing. I didn't have cards in hand. One of the times it worked, the other ones it didn't.
Yeah, so here you go, guys. The majority of the time you're just awakened, and then when shit hits the fan, Z leader time.
Yes.
Destroyed West City, like it's a card that you have to run, and that's it.
Yeah, and you have to run it too. When your opponent plays the other Z extra to Z stack, then they're telegraphing they have the Trunks SCR. I played to West City because I didn't want to lose to Cheese in the first couple of rounds when a guy is playing a Zero Unison or the Green Boo or something like that. I didn't want as a Masu player to actually win a game against me. Didn't want to give him the street cred.
Yeah, guys. These are the things that you actually really need to take into consideration in the early rounds. And then the rest of them is just 2 copies of SSB Rush. Like it's a Z deck staple. Like
yes, of course
SSB
it is. Yeah.
Rush. 1 Defender of Life, same thing.
Yeah, and he's awesome because when you play against Green Gohan or some deck that wants to stay at 4, they're like, haha, I'm at 4. And you're like, no, you're not. You're at 3, and I'm swinging double strike. You're gonna negate this. And then they're probably gonna close an energy or something into a floodgate, and then you can just play around it and swing it face.
And the last card, the interesting one, is the interesting question is more like in the why Cellmax.
This was against red mirrors. The reasoning was I could have used any other card probably in the Z deck, but I wanted to have like when you're playing against red, they will never put Kaioken. And everything else that you have doesn't have barrier. I mean, you can give barrier with the trunk, but these cards, those cards don't matter. But this Cellmax actually enables you to swing neg cards like Next Depends or whatever. He can restand and do stuff like that, and your opponent cannot remove him. He's gonna be a barrier blocker with the other Cellmax on board, and with explosive dance, your opponent will not be able to, in any moment, actually come to your life. He will never threaten your life with him.
Okay, actually, it is a very cool choice. Oh, when you put it like that.
I was never in a situation to play him, but I found myself in situations where I predicted that he could be played, but the situation never arose because my opponent either didn't play the way that I anticipated, or I'm saying it in a negative manner because kind of disrupted all of my opponent's plays like that. So I think that I never found myself in a situation to actually be. I didn't find an advantage playing it.
And lastly, let's go through the Z deck, for the side deck. So immediately we see one after image.
Yes, for the Gohan matchup, specifically for the Gohan matchup, yeah.
Then we have 2 copies of Concentrated Destruction for barrier removal.
Yes, exclusively for barrier removal, yeah.
2 mice cause fuck blue, basically.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. 2 Mechikaburas, like why? Mm-hmm.
We kind of all know why I played Mickey Cabras. I would like to give a suggestion to any future players to play only one because you never put two. When you play against the decks where you have to put Mickey Cabra, you put other cards in the deck that you will see in the sideboard, and you don't have that much space. So play just one Mickey Cabra. You'll draw into it. Believe me.
Then we have 2 copies of European Koitsukai. I mean,
Yes.
like, yeah, you have to play Koitsukai, so.
Yeah, even though this is the bad one, you have to play it.
Then we have 1 Hidden Ambitions. If someone tries to do like a cheeky free counter.
Yes, you just say, not today, Captain Cheeky Counter, not today.
2 copies of Royal Evolution. So, swinging through swinging through Nimbuses and defending friends and stuff like that with your leader.
Of course, and the thing that Royal Evolution is actually an awesome card in this red meta, and you have to use it at this number. More of them are just too clunky. 1 is not enough. So Royal Evolution is one of the best cards that red has against red and against yellow. So we are in a ketchup and mustard meta. We all have to acknowledge that. And Royal Evolution enables you to do exactly the things that you said. But this deck can do something else. You swing with your leader, you give him double strike crit, and you fatten it up with something, with your super combo or whatever, and you use Royal Evolution. Your leader will be, if you use only the 2 trunks in Royal Evolution, he will be 30k double strike critical, preferably with a modifier from the Goku Piccolo or Vegito. After that, you restand your leader, and then you Z Awaken and swing with the Z Awakened leader, which is double strike by default. So that is really precious and really threatening. If your opponent isn't aware of that, he's going to lose on the spot, or he will lose on your next turn, since he will lose a lot of cards in their hand to actually defend that.
Yeah, leaders which attack multiple times, guys, or making your leader attack multiple times, huge in the current meta.
Yes.
One teamwork of Universe 7. This is to stop counter basically.
Yeah, this goes only against yellow U7 in your deck and against Gojira, since you cannot let them counter your negate, to make the things that their decks actually do. So you don't lose the Birthing Rage, you don't lose to the Gojira Triple Strike Swing, and whatevers.
And then the last card in the side is, well, it's just 2 copies of Dabura in case something green randomly shows up.
Yes, and the only random green stuff is Green Gohan, so you have to have the Daburas in your deck. It's a respect card for it.
So guys, this is the deck. And as always, before we go, Ivan, it is your time to do some shoutouts.
Yes, I would love to give a shout out to my family, to my girlfriend for actually, putting up with me since I was testing for this event because I was all focused on it. Then I would like to make a shout out to my friends, and which is you and Nina and Andrea and Benzi. Because with your support and with your help, I made it this far with our daily discussions about everything. I have to thank Cody as well. I have to thank Ryan K for giving me the 4th Gohan. And I have to really say and thank all of the guys that I ever played with. I have to give my respect to Michał, Pavel, Mert, Matt, and Jamie and James, because we joked around and we worked so hard on it to be in top cut. We were finally in the top cut, and the Golden Generation boys with my swan song. I'm so glad that I was at this event with all of you guys, and that I had the chance to play and experience Barcelona with you. Yeah, that's that for me. If anyone has questions about the deck, I'm here. I'm actually talking to a French player who wants to know stuff about this particular list, and I would like to see this list as a main list. The things that future player has to consider is that get out, get the Goten out, get the after image out. You have to consider Vados' assistance as a negate because it withstands Cell Max against yellow U7, so they will have to play around it. And put the Gohan 8-drop in the side, put something else in the main, use them against Gojira, but not in the main.
There you go, guys. So, yeah, this was Ivan, our lookout representative in the top cut. And this is the deck, and yeah, this has been Damien from the Lookout. Thanks Ivan for coming, and I'll see all of you in the next video.